The story started with an old voice introducing the history of this world. During the beginning of this world, the mana that made up this world was too great to hold its shape, and it swirled into chaos. Then the first gods appeared. He created earth by solidifying the mana beneath his feet. He thinned out the mana above to create the sky. However, the old voice was suddenly interrupted by a child, complaining that he only asked about magic. The old man just told him to quiet down and listen as he continued his lecture. After earth and sky, the god made the sun, moon and separated the land from the sea, then made fire, wind and trees. After creation, evil gods then came into being. Then he finally started talking about magic. The word and symbols used by the gods of creation which are filled with power are called words of creations. While the old man continued his story, it switched to the child's perspective. The child is named Will. He called the old man as Gus, while describing him as an eccentric ghost who can be a little overbearing, but smarter than anyone else and teaches him everything. Gus started writing words in thin air, then the glowing words turned into fire. He taught Will how writing specific keywords could create existences it defines. He wrote Ignis to create fire and Erasus to distinguish it. And this is how magic works in this world. Will got enthusiastic seeing this. After a while, Will is shown looking at the statues of the gods one by one. He checked the engraved names of the gods, wondering how the magic didn't activate. As he looked up to the god in front of him, called Graceful, a woman in white approached him and asked if he wants to learn about the goddess Graceful. She introduced the goddess Graceful as the god of light, who governs the cycle of death and rebirth. He then asked if she worshipped the Earth Mother Mater. She said yes, as she describes the goddess as the god of child-rearing and the bounties of the earth. He also asked if she prayed to the goddess every day. But oddly she didn't answer and tried avoiding the question by bringing up dinner. Before they could leave to prepare for dinner, a skeleton warrior named Blood arrived while carrying a boar. Will is excited thinking he could have meat for dinner. While eating dinner, Blood mentioned about teaching Will how to hunt. However, Mary and Gus scold Blood because Will is just 3 years old. Obviously he's too young for hunting. At the same time, Gus added that Will should learn magic instead, as he consider Will to be a genius like him. While Blood and Gus continued arguing, Will asked Mary when did she bake the cake he's having for dinner. However, Mary only replied that it's a secret. Mary, Blood and Gus are keeping a lot of secrets, like why the three of them are living in isolation, why there's no other human aside from Will, and why they are undead. They have more secrets. However, Will can't ask them about it as he have his own secrets. He have the memories of his previous life. The scene then changed to when he was reborn in this world. Will woke up in a body of child. The first thing he saw were the 3 undeads. After half a year staying with the undeads, although he couldn't speak yet, he started to understand their language. It was the first time that he saw the outside world. Mesmerized after seeing the outside world, Will could only cry. He thought he's being punished in hell, but after seeing the beautiful word, he thought it's the grace of God. Living in this world is his second chance in life. The scene returned to the present. Will look a lot older now, and he is currently undergoing combat training under Blood. He is lying in the ground, completely exhausted. Blood is lecturing him about building up his muscles and strength as he can't only rely on magic. However, Will's conclusion from his lesson is that muscles are masochistic, and Blood could only groan while accepting it. Afterwards, Will started his magic lessons under Gus. Gus started scolding him. However, it is because Will can't completely control the string of his magic due to his amazing talent. Gus told him that he will need to improve his accuracy, or he would end up killing himself with his own magic. Will's knowledge from his past life is surprisingly helpful when learning magic. Due to this, he could easily understand Gus' lectures. And this just affirmed Gus' conclusion that Will is a genius in terms of magic. Gus told Will that he will need to start from the basics in order to fully control his magic power. However, Gus have another solution, and it is money. Will could buy tools or equipments that could help him control his magic better. At the same time, it is revealed that Gus is a money worshipper, and he is so frustrated that he couldn't even touch the money he loved so much after turning into a ghost. Will couldn't help but find it ridiculous. While he have lessons about combat and magic in the day, at night Mary is teaching him about this current world. Mary taught him about the creatures in this world, beasts, demons, and gods. She also told him how the 3 of them used to be humans, but after dying they clung to their powerful emotions and formed a contract with the god of the undead, making themselves undead and traitors to the Virtus gods. Mary apologized after seeing Will's sad reaction to her story. However, Will suddenly asked her how he could get stronger with a determined look, which put Mary's mind at ease. The next day, Will was shown hunting birds with Blood watching from the sides. Will have a hard time killing the bird. He told Blood that he doesn't like killing. Blood responded that it is the same for him, but he added that it is necessary for them to hunt in order for Will to survive. He also added that as a warrior, once he's on a life or death situation, he will need to put everything aside and kill reflexively. Blood then told him to continue hunting as he walked to another direction looking for another prey. While looking at Blood, Will thought that Blood has been the father figure for him in this world. After a while, Will returned to his combat training. However, this time it will be an actual combat against Blood. Will is against it, fully aware of how strong Blood is. However, Gus just told him to use everything to fight, including his magic, but before they could finish talking, Blood started charging at him. He had no choice but to fight back, as he used his magic consecutively to get the upper hand. However, he let his guard down and Blood took advantage of it to fight back and disarm him. Although Will lost, Blood was full of praise for him, adding that his fighting style is exactly like the great sorcerer, Wandering Sage. Will asked if the Wandering Sage is Gus. Blood confirmed as he continued talking about Gus and his achievements, mentioning how he exterminated monsters and rediscovered ancient languages. However, Gus brushed it off, saying it was a long time ago. He also mentioned that Blood was known as the War Ogre while Mary was known as the daughter of Mater, but Blood seems to be reluctant to talk about it. He changed the topic and started praising Will's growth, while urging him to get even stronger. Gus looked back to how Blood suddenly brought back a human child with him, which is Will. As Gus speaks, his contempt for humans was really obvious, and this upsets Blood. He tried to reprimand Gus, but Gus didn't see anything wrong on the way he speaks. However, Blood thinks that it is unnecessary to bring it up. Gus realized his mistake and apologized. Will thought how it was unlike him. However, he replied to Gus right away that it didn't bother him. Blood also apologized for getting riled up, but Gus responded that it's nothing new as they continue bickering. The scene changed to Blood and Gus walking back to their home. Blood started talking about how they are different to Will, since they are already undead. He apologized because he couldn't tell Will their story yet, also for Gus' ways of talking to him. However, Will replied that he's not mad at Gus and only feel respect towards him. Blood is proud with Will's kindness and he promised to Will that he will explain everything once Will grows up. Will is genuinely touched by Blood's concern for him. Will hugged Blood from behind. Feeling embarrassed, he pretended that he thought Will is trying to attack him from behind. The scene changed, showing Will while he's farming. Although Gus and Blood teach him academic lessons and how to fight, the things Mary teach him are all helpful and necessary for him in order to survive. Mary suddenly called out to him and asked him to take care of things in the farm, as it's almost time for her daily prayer. When praying, Mary would isolate herself inside the temple and wouldn't allow Will to go in while she's praying inside. While thinking about it, Blood suddenly showed up, picking him up for his daily training. After the training, Will came back limping and exhausted. He saw Mary exiting the temple while carrying the bread that he always have during his meals. He remembered how Mary always keep it a secret from him how or when she baked the cake for him. Because of his curiosity, he chose to enter the temple after Mary started praying. He saw Mary covered in flames. He remembered his past life and he's afraid to end up alone again. He didn't hesitate and run towards Mary to try and save her. Feeling desperate, he screamed for help until he passes out. After trying to save Mary, Will is shown to be lying in bed, sick with both his arms covered in bandages due to burn wounds. Mary and Blood are blaming themselves for being careless. Will's wounds are bad, but Gus was sure he'll be able to recover. Will is still concerned about Mary right after waking up. Mary continued blaming herself, but Will apologized for prying to her secrets. Blood lectured Will and told him from now on he will have to consult to him or Mary before doing anything. Although he scolded Will, Blood is proud of Will for being brave while trying to save Mary, but Gus cut them off while saying all he got was unnecessary wounds. Although he pretended to be tough, Gus was also impressed with Will, so he decided to explain Mary's situation to him. The bread that Mary always provides Will for his meals is a gift from the Earth Mother Mater for Mary's daily prayer. But because Mary betrayed Earth Mother Mater by turning into an undead by establishing a contract with the impure god of death, Stagnate, Earth Mother Mater's enemy, she is burning every time she prays to Earth Mother. Thinking that Mary is doing it for his sake, Will felt guilty. However, Mary said that praying to Earth Mother has already been part of her life even before she turned into an undead, so it is not his fault. Although she betrayed Earth Mother, she's still answering her prayers by providing her bread that she could give to Will every day. Mary apologized for keeping it a secret from him, while asking Will to continue eating the bread she provided for him every day. Will agreed and asked Mary to let him join her every time she would pray. Thank you for watching. Please subscribe and look forward to the next part.